Negative side of things for the
Alden Smith.
Raiders. Alden Smith. I mean, is Alden Smith going to be able to come in after all this time off and all these off-field issues? Is he really going to be able to step in and provide that elite pass rushing assistance to Khalil Mack? Because outside of that, I don't know if they really have. They're lacking an edge rush presence outside of Mack. Malcolm Smith went to San Francisco, so now they have a little bit of a situation at inside linebacker as well. Is Matt going to have to, come off the edge a little bit, hold down that middle of the field some more? It'll be interesting to see. But on the plus side of things, they filled most of the holes for this team. A good rookie safety, cornerback, veteran running back Marshawn Lynch was added to the fold. You got a healthy Derek Carr, be it coming off a devastating injury. Great team for Madden 18. Would you agree?
I think the Raiders kept things together pretty well. They added some missing pieces that could go either way, but they're in a window where they have to win now. Yes, I agree with you. I think they are definitely one of the top teams that can make that push. But if they don't, they're paying a lot of offensive linemen and a lot of defensive players a lot of money to be really good, and then you're going to be kind of stuck with some really big contracts. So you're hoping Lynch is that missing piece. You're hoping that Derek Carr does not get hurt, and basically wipe out what I thought was a very good contender team in the real NFL last year. So
till Derek Carr went down, I thought they were the only team going to give the Patriots a run there at the end.
I agree. It is what it is, but I forgot Lazy Boy. I know he was in the league last year. I want to remember. I'm trying to remember what team, but it's not.
I can't recall either.
It might have been a long time since we've seen him in the league.
I barely recognized the gamer tag at first. It took me a second.
I wanted to say the Buffalo Bills, but I don't know. And I know Nigel was there for a long time, and I don't think it was. But he might have been one of the first guys. I don't know.
I think he was in the first season. But let's look toward the Chargers. Critical Mass, he's taken the head coaching position for the Los Angeles Chargers. So you got Keenan Allen and Melvin Ingram, two big players on both sides of the ball. I'm giving them a B grade for their offseason. They were focused on their O-line. They made Russell Okung the highest paid tackle in football. They also drafted 2 guards on day 2 of the draft in April. Negatives, injury bug at wide receiver. Keenan Allen a little too brittle. Number 7 overall draft pick Mike Williams suffered from a herniated disc during OTAs. We already discussed prior injuries and stuff, but in the grand scheme of things, are these guys going to have lower injury ratings? Is it going to affect this team? The Chargers, good team.
I personally like the Chargers. I think
they're a really good team.
My biggest thing on offense is, do you have every level? Like a player at every level? I think Rivers, you got a quarterback. You got Melvin Gordon at running back.
Yep.
You got 2 big receivers. Whether or not they stay healthy, I get it, but you still got Travis Benjamin. A lot of people forget about that. They might all be injury risks, but
and Tyrell Williams.
That's right. I forgot about him too. So Hunter Henry at tight end.
What a scary 4 wide receiver set.
I agree. If they're all out there at the same time, one of the better ones. Defensively, the one guy you forgot last year who might have made one of the biggest impacts that nobody knows about, Joey Bosa.
Yeah, Joey Bosa really came on strong.
Yeah,
let's see. They got him rated at 88 overall going on into this season.
They got a good secondary. Besides Joey Bosa, you don't have a lot of a pass rush, but their linebackers are a little bit weak. But this is another team that's basically offensive line challenged.
Yep.
That's probably their biggest weakness. So, and I know they drafted 1 first round, so I like this team. I think whatchamacallit, Critical Mass, he was mad at me for taking the Falcons. I think he'll end up liking this team more than he thinks. So,
I mean, you get to rock the powdered blues. There's not much to dislike. So, let's go to another AFC West team here. Let's go to the Chiefs. The Chiefs are being managed by OVO GOAT. Let me bring up here. Let's see. The Chiefs, I gave them a C- grade. They got Eric Berry and Travis Kelce holding it down on both sides of the ball there. Positives for the Chiefs in this offseason, they acquired their possible QB of the future in the draft, Mahomes, former Texas Tech QB at number 10. Negatives, Jerry Maclin was not re-signed, and they have an extremely tight salary cap situation, if I'm correct. Makes you wonder, but this team seems to be built to win now. Very competitive, a lot of speed on the outside. Cornerbacks, pretty good. So you got Hali out there, Derek Johnson, Justin Houston.
what do you think the weaknesses are for this team?
As I'm scrolling through here, it seems like their left side of the offensive line seems to be lacking a little bit, and that's not necessarily the best thing, or what you want to hear when you're talking about bringing in a new quarterback.
A young quarterback.
Yeah, but I mean, they still have Alex Smith, so I mean, I know he's not gonna win you a game necessarily if he has to, but he's not gonna lose you the game either. So that's a pretty good situation for an excellent defensive team to find itself in. You just got to be worried about that O-line a little bit on the left side, I think.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that. I look at this team, and Benny Logan is definitely gonna help that D-line. Regardless if his rating isn't the greatest. Eric Fisher is probably one of the bigger busts in the draft, but he's still young. He's 26. I mean, for left tackle, they could do a lot worse. So they're going to have a lot of young, fast weapons, and you'll know right away if this team is looking more towards the future or more towards now if Mahomes is playing.
Yep. And if I was the Chiefs user, with the type of talent you have around you, if my first choice would be, can I find a left tackle, or is this left tackle going to be able to facilitate my needs well enough for the season to develop Mahomes, or is he going to be good enough that I can protect the ball with Alex and get the win? If it was me, I think I might go Mahomes, trade Smith away, get something back in return, move forward. Team seems to be built well enough to win enough games to make it to the playoffs season 1. So let's talk about your old team, the Broncos here. Master Chef, he is now in charge at Mile High. Yep, Caleb is taking over the Broncos. So they retooled.
He hated me last year when I took the Broncos, man. He absolutely he could not stand it.
Oh man. Well, he finally got his way then. They retooled their O-line. Negatives, no real big impact signings. They did add Jamal Charles. However you want to take that. I don't think he's injured at the moment, but how long? Good team. Do you think Trevor Siemian really helps get this team over the hump, or is this a team that's a year away from really competing with that division?
I don't think Simeon will be their starter. We'll start right there.
Paxton?
Yeah, I think Paxton will be the building block of the future there, because he's got the arm. You rather go young and put it all into that basket. They got the running back depth. I'll give you that. Offensive line is pretty much their bugaboo. I mean, you're putting in a quarterback that's unproven with an offensive line that was probably my biggest concern when I took the team, and it still is the biggest concern this year. So, but the quickest way to fix that team is fix that offensive line. After that, there really is no major holes.
No, it's just
depth, quarterback.
Just adding depth at that point once you get that quarterback in there.
Exactly.
But with that will close out that segment. I mean, that segment is probably a lot long. Well, I know it's a lot longer than any segments we're really gonna try and have this year. I didn't really bring it up earlier. I might have touched on it, but that's something that we're gonna aim to do more frequently, is have more concise, to the point segments, and I'm gonna try and help that be more apparent in this next one. This would be our most anticipated games. I wrote down my top 5 games I'm looking forward for the Scrub Squad season 1. Well, it'll be season 7 for us, but first season for Madden 18. Jaguars are going to go to the Titans. Giants at Cowboys, which I just did a preview. If you tune in and replay the Squadcast here. Chiefs at the Patriots. That's the season kickoff game in real life. And then our Monday Night Football doubleheader, we got the Saints at Vikings, which is a big division game for us to keep our eyes on. Acid.
Old division rivals. You gotta love it.
Yep. And then Chargers at Broncos. So out of those 5 games, I know I kind of ran through them really quick, but after us going through these rundown of teams, what are you looking forward to out of these in week 1? I mean, you may have, I'm sure if you want, you could pull it up, but if you have another game that you're thinking of. But
Spider, the old Steelers versus Oz, the old Bengals, with the Saints and Vikings matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for that one, Monday Night Football.
They played in the playoffs probably more times than anybody, and then you topped it off, their division rivals before, and the icing on the cake. Adrian Peterson gets to go against his former team. I love
it. It
has everything we want to see in a week 1.
Yeah. So I'm definitely going to try and get in the trenches on this one and see if I can't watch the live stream. I want to get as many good notes as we can. And that's another thing. I know you and I talked about this. Anyone, like how we want feedback for the show, like, hey, you should talk about this or do that. We want correspondence. So there's no way we can personally watch all the games. So if you want to take it upon yourself, like, damn, I'm bored, I got some free time, go back, watch a game or two, come on the Squadcast, give us in-depth analysis, tell us what you think.
Absolutely.
Let's add immersion and content to the league, and it'll be awesome, and we can't wait for that shit to start happening. We already went over the Commissioner Corner. Nigel really helped us talk through a lot of the big details. I wanted to keep them on, but we had to go through the process a little differently here. But so the third segment, I'm going to call this Bold Predictions. So for this, so I mean, every preview show of a season, we do a bold prediction segment. What's your bold prediction for our first season in Madden 18?
That I won't completely suck? No, let's see. God, at this point, that I won't.
I know it's up in the air.
On the air. Alright, no, but okay.
We're almost
bold
done.
Predictions. I would just say let's just do this, and then we could always jump in before week 1 of the season. I say division. Who do we think is the best going in for every division? I think that's the easiest way. We could always talk about champion predictions later and whatnot.
Yeah.
So if you want to go to divisions, we'll run them down quick.
Okay. Let's see. For the North, if I was to pick one user, I'm gonna have to, and it's Lip, Oz, Jamie, or Miguel. I'm gonna have to give Miguel the nod a little bit over Oz, just for the fact that he's been there. He's proved that he can win with a Bears team consistently. Maybe not against the level of competition that he has now, but I think that he's the number 1 team in the NFC North, but it's not by a wide gap.
I think Oz is gonna win it hands down. And it's no knock on Miguel or Jamie, and definitely not Lip, but you give him a team that's loaded defensively, he'll make it work. And ever since he's had teams like that, he's always been in the playoffs. So I will not go against him in that.
All right, so as far as NFC East goes, do you think anyone's going to be able to topple the Cowboys in this first season?
Well, okay. So the Giants are. I am Guatemalan.